Welcome to the duration section of the measurement module. In this segment, you will learn about duration. Here's the relatable video.
Lance! Okay, so this weekend I went out, right? And I went to that cool little arcade place that has like the laser tag and it has the go-karts. And then guess who walked in, Lance? Take one guess who walked in.
I don't know.
It was Dom. What? It was Dom. Oh my gosh. He walked in and he was with Sally. With Sally. And I was like, oh my god, why are you with her? You should be hanging out with me. Oh, it was so horrible. Anyways, I walked up to them and for some reason I decided to go say hi. And I was like, hey guys, all awkward. What? What? I can't believe I said that. I don't really know why I said it. Like I said, sometimes I'm a bit awkward, but whatever. So I was like, all right, hey guys, how are you doing? All that stuff. And then it was really awkward. I didn't really want to start talking about the weather. Usually you talk about the weather. So then instead I ran. I was like, okay, bye guys. And then literally ran. What? Oh my god, I ran. I'm so embarrassed.
In the video you watched, Brianna said, "What?" for several consecutive seconds each time. We can use duration to measure the amount of time Brianna says, "What?" in her conversation with Lance. You may remember that measurement procedures fall into two broad categories: continuous measurement procedures and discontinuous measurement procedures. Continuous measurement can be further broken into event recording and timing. In this module, we will focus on continuous measurement procedure, more specifically, timing. There are multiple timing procedures that can be used to measure behavior: duration, response, latency, and inter-response time. Today we'll be focusing on duration. The definition of duration is the amount of time a behavior occurs. We use duration to measure behavior when the length of the occurrence of the behavior is relevant to the treatment goals. We can measure the amount of time a behavior occurs by looking at the total duration of each occurrence, the total duration of all occurrences, or the average duration. Let's begin by talking about total duration of each occurrence. When looking at the total duration of each occurrence, we are interested in the amount of time of a single occurrence behavior. For example, Dave screams for 3 seconds. You would start the timer as soon as Dave starts screaming, and stop the timer when Dave stops screaming. This measures the amount of time of a single occurrence behavior. To measure the duration of a single occurrence of behavior, start timer when the behavior begins. You would press the start button on your timer. And stop timer when it ends by pressing the stop button on the timer. Next, we're going to go over total duration of all occurrences. Total duration of all occurrences means the amount of time of all occurrences of the same behavior. Let's look at an example of total duration of all occurrences. In this example, we are measuring the duration of each occurrence of Dave screaming. However, to get the total duration of all occurrences, we would add each instance. We would do this by adding 3, plus 6, plus 3, which will give you the total of 12 seconds. You would report the total duration screaming as 12 seconds for the observation period. Lastly, let's look at an example of the average duration. In this example, you would calculate the mean of all the durations of screaming. You would do this by adding 3 plus 6 plus 3, which would give you 12 seconds. Then you would find the average of the 3 occurrences by calculating 12 divided by 3, because there are 3 occurrences of screaming. That will give you the answer of 4 seconds. It's your turn. Let's practice average duration. In this example, Sally screams during session, and each scream lasts several seconds. Find the average duration of Sally's screaming. Let's solve it. Did you calculate by adding all occurrences of screaming? Then dividing the total duration by 3, since there were 3 occurrences of behavior. If you did this, then you are on the right track. If you had difficulty, no worries. We'll look at one final example. You travel to school 3 days a week. Find the average duration of your weekly commute. Is this the answer you received? The average duration of your commute is 25 minutes. Let's look at how to write your session observation notes for Sally. 1. Do. Include that Sally screamed for a total of 10 seconds during session. Include that Sally screamed for an average of 3.33 seconds during session. These notes are objective and descriptive. 2. Don't. Write that Sally was angry today. Write that Sally screamed a lot today. Write Sally felt frustrated, so she screamed. These notes include subjective views on the way Sally was feeling. Remember, we only want to report on objective behaviors. This is what the session notes should look like. That concludes our review of continuous measurement procedures. Duration. Please complete the checkpoint questions on Canvas.